Hi, and welcome to your first video on your Nearpod tutorial. If you selected that you have limited knowledge of Nearpod, need to know more, and you don't know what a Nearpod is, this video is for you. So before we get started, I asked a few people in my office to describe what a Nearpod is in 5 seconds. Here's what they said. Sorry, I don't know what it is, but I've heard it vaguely tossed around. It's related to tetrapods and lives in a lake. It's an edamame that's closest to you. You can create PowerPoint presentations. It's a computer program you can use for, and they ran out of time because it was 5 seconds or less. So sure enough, Nearpod is a presentation tool. And what it really is great for is kind of bringing in a new level of interactivity that you have been missing in lectures. It's really a great tool to use during lecture. I don't think I would suggest using it for much else than that. However, it is similar to how Prezi kind of added a new level of engagement on lectures, except this is really much better and doesn't make anyone nauseous, so that's usually a bonus. Biggest point is that this works on every device, phones, Chromebooks, importantly, everything, so that's really great. It works pretty simply. You first start by creating, which I don't suggest on their editor because it's actually really bad. Or downloading lessons from other people. That's a cool feature, actually. You can download pre-made, lessons. They're kind of middle school and elementary oriented, those particular ones, but you find an odd gem here and there. It's a neat way to enable you to control your students' screens to an extent during your lectures. Now, you can't stop them from Xing out of your presentation. That can't be stopped. However, what you can do is see when they do it. And also, it lets you make sure that every student is on the same page, because they will literally be on the same page, which is a nice feature. The biggest piece is the interactivity that you gain when you do this. A few years ago, the response clickers were a hit. This takes that to the next level. It's really the next evolution of those, and the assessments and the reports that it generates seamlessly after that are really the main strength of it. So that's really cool. This is one of my favorite features, their library of lessons. Again, it's more of just a neat thing to be able to see what other people are creating on the platform. I haven't found anything that is particularly useful for my high school science class, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It's just they're kind of buried in the other stuff. And again, you can create your own activities. However, I don't suggest that. Again, you're better off creating something on PowerPoint and kind of importing it. That's just my suggestion. But anyway, the main feature is the formative assessment. They have a huge variety of activities and assessments that you can incorporate. You have polls, you have quizzes. You have this really cool thing where you can have students draw on a blank white page or over an image, which is great for a whole variety of things. They're constantly adding in media like web content and Twitter streams, which are neat, if nothing else. There's really just a variety of great things you can add into your lectures here, which is neat. So to summarize, what Nearpod will do, it'll allow you to really efficiently incorporate formative assessment. It's a fantastic way to do this and to collect data seamlessly on how your students are doing during the actual lecture. It's not for summative assessments, it's not for exams, things like that. It's for how do your students comprehend what you're delivering during a lecture or during a class. You get to gain access to a huge selection of teacher-made presentations. Of course, there's a fee for the best ones, but that's okay. It's pretty neat. And again, you can control student screens to an extent. It's not complete control, but you certainly get more than you would normally. I also thought I'd describe what Nearpod won't do. This isn't a tool that's going to just flat out increase student engagement. That's our job as teachers. It's not the technology's job. If technology could do that all on its own, then we wouldn't exist. So don't forget that. It's important. You are a main piece in incorporating this stuff. It's not going to save you lots of time. The only part that it'll save you time with is the incorporating the formative assessment during class, but it does take a significant amount of time as far as tech tools go to set up and get rolling and things like that. So it definitely is not going to be a huge time saver out of the box. And most importantly, it's not going to database your course materials. I could not emphasize that enough. don't create all of your course materials on Nearpod and then expect them to live there forever. Just like every ed tech company, it's going to come into existence and go out of existence fairly rapidly. So you don't want to use it as a database. But there you go. Those are the do's and don'ts, the basics of Nearpod. If you want to learn a little bit more about how to create Nearpod presentations, watch the next video in the playlist. Hope you enjoyed, and bye-bye.